It's okay.
So next up we have Barbara Malloy from the Presbyterian Preschool and Child Care Center.
Okay, I'm the director of the Presbyterian Preschool and Child Care Center, and I know I have been privileged to be doing this presentation at least 13 years. And so this makes it a real honor for me. Thank you so much. Presbyterian Preschool and Child Care Centers opened up in 1989. And when Kay Holly opened it up, she immediately wanted it to be a part of the community. And so the church set it up so that it would provide a service to families who were at risk or in need. And I can illustrate with a story best. And for confidentiality, I'll change a few details, but the general gist is there. Imagine being a young family. You just had a very young infant. All of a sudden, for a medical reason, you can't walk. You have a 3-year-old also. You call family. They come from out of state. They try to help. But they can only stay for a couple of weeks, maybe 3. They can try to come back a little bit later. An infant can be helped a little bit easier, but what do you do with a 3-year-old? They need to have a place to go, to talk to people. They don't understand what's going on. It's a sudden emergency. They need that attention. They need that. And this is what we do. We provide emergency care for families who are at risk. And for a 3-year-old, that is an at-risk situation. They need the time and the care and the attention and help during the day while this family is trying to figure out how to sustain themselves for the next 6 months while someone is learning to take care of themselves medically in a very different way than they could have imagined. Their income was already low. This made it even lower because suddenly there's almost none. They qualify for TANF. The United Way Funds gives us the first 4 months of assistance that helps this family at least 50% of the tuition, which for me covers just about 70% of what I need to do to pay the teachers who are caring for this child. Each teacher in our center comes very qualified, very dedicated, but also earns a wage that's anywhere from minimum wage to about $14 an hour. And the person earning $14 an hour has done this for 20 years to get to that rate. So I have people who really understand what it means to be at a barely livable wage or maybe even under. I have a very dedicated staff who will take the time to make sure this family, when they walk in the door, feels safe and feels that they are definitely part of our program. The child, the first thing is to do is to make them emotionally safe. For any child who's at risk, who's at a very unstable life for whatever reason, maybe they're homeless and we've had that. Maybe they're a teenage mom and there's just instability because they're not sure what they want to do yet. We make sure that they feel that they can be a successful part of who in our family. The teachers in the classroom show them around. They show them that we have a routine, that there's a place for the child to have their cubby, there's a place for the child to hang their coat, there's a place for them to be able to choose and play and learn. The quality childcare that's involved, but also the learning that's involved. Because as you know, children will grow. No matter what's going on in the outside world, they're going to be growing and they're going to have needs that need to be met so that they can be ready for school. And if that gets delayed, it gets delayed for a long, long time. The other part that we do also is that when we get some of our parents who are very young and they're very stressed, there are times when we see that there might be a little bit of delay in development. There might be a little bit of special challenges that they need help with. We have the resources and the patience to be able to talk to those parents, to help them through that process of stating that, yes, there's so much out there. Early intervention is out there. We have Old Mill that's out there. We have the connections to the resources in the community so that this family can get what they need. So again, that child doesn't get so delayed that it affects their learning later on in their life. That is what we do as a center, as a director, every day I see them in the hallway. Every day I get to see how's the family doing. We celebrated one particular parent's milestone of 2 years of having left the milestone program and having been able to take care of their children for 2 years drug-free and alcohol-free. Those are the things that we celebrate. Those are the kind of things that we want. We want to be able to help this community that to me is so supportive of families and help those families who are at risk become a part of this community and stay a part of this community. For our children, sometimes depending on when they come to us at any age, if they come to us infants, we usually end up graduating them to kindergarten unless they move away somewhere. They want to stay in the program, and we will do everything we can, which is why when I give you the numbers, I took today's numbers at $975 a month. It includes food. Best food you could ever possibly get because we have a cook and we cook in-house. It's healthy. We're going to start growing our own garden so that the children even know how to grow their own herbs so that we can pass it off to our chef. So they're nutritionally fed, they're nurtured, they're cared for. We had one parent who they had a fire and they lost most of their goods. The parents came together and they donated enough stuff to get them clothing and to get some bedding and to get some furniture along with the community so they could get back on their feet and not lose their progress. Sometimes I watch parents and they work so hard. When you go for assistance, for either DHS assistance, which we provided $35,000 worth of assistance last year for those who, once they got past that 4 months, they were eligible and they stayed on with us and we had assistance from the state to help pay their tuition. I watch them how hard they work, because it's one of those things where you have to meet those eligibility requirements. They're not going to be nice. You either go to work, you're looking for a job, you're reporting constantly. And helping and encouraging them and telling them it's worth their while, that's the biggest part of our job, telling them that, yes, we understand. You need to do this, we need to do that, because we can't care for your child unless our teachers are paid for, unless the equipment is safe, unless there's supplies that are there, like for instance, not just arts and crayons, but paint and the diaper wipes and all the other stuff that we have to provide every day in order to be able to do a really good job at this. This is what we enjoy, doing. Like I said, the center's been there for a long time. We acknowledge that in a community that is so family-oriented, and there's so many young families, and we are very close to OSU, so we're kind of popular right now, that our first priority goes to when we get a child in our center, and this year there are 5 parents who are now having siblings, and it's an exciting time for them. They get first priority for spaces in our center. But every time a space comes open because someone has moved or we've had someone graduate, and we do that little domino effect of there go the pre-kindergartners, so next thing the 4-year-olds are moving up and the 3-year-olds are moving up, which is what we do in summer. We then look to make sure who in the community might be needing help. They get the very next priority filling that space. Sometimes I think someone watches over us because the one space that just came open was immediately filled by someone who had a desperate need, and they happened to have walked in just at the right time. This is what we do. We do it every day. We've been doing it now since 1989, and we hope to be doing it again for another 25 years. So thank you very much. Any questions?
What are the hours of operation, and is it year-round?
7 to 5:30. It is year-round.
On weekdays?
On weekdays, Monday through Friday. Yes.
Are you saying the child care center has been there since 1989?
Mm-hmm. The
Preschool
preschools,
was there long before that.
69. Preschool started, it was a private preschool, morning preschool started by teachers. And in 1989, they looked at the community and they said they needed to add child care because obviously the demographics had changed.
Okay, sorry to keep hustling along here, but there's no more